Happy Mola Monday, everybody, and welcome to this week's Hall of Trials video. After the nonsense that was last week's video where it was darn near impossible to get a high score, they've kind of taken pity on us this week and gave us a really easy one. So if you don't have the Archdemon Mercedes Dagger Sicar score yet, then this is the week for you. For this week, the boss is immune to provoke and redirect provoke, which is weird because they always are. Fire heroes take twice the normal amount of damage. If you have 2 or more rangers on the team, you get 30% more attack and defense, which is nice. And damage suffered by the boss is increased by 75% if you have buff block on the boss, and that is a huge boost to damage. It's like 3 rage sets, so you really want to have buff block on the boss to do some damage. Now, nice thing about this is there are a lot of rangers that come with buff block, and this is the team we're going to run on full auto. Now, I know Sirmia's fire, she's going to take double damage, but that's okay because we're going to burst this thing down fast. This is my normal build Sirmia. The only thing I changed from her normal expedition team build is I put her on attack boots instead of speed boots, and I gave her the Cruel Mischief artifact because we're going to run this on full auto. Now, if you don't have Sirmia, you can use Milim. Milim will work just as good as Sirmia in this position. Our first ranger is going to be Command Model Leica. It's my normal Command Model Leica, except I put her on Bloodstone. She's still on her S1EE. It's probably not the ideal one for her because you don't want to be pushing Sirmia around. So let's go ahead and change it. Let's see. That one puts people to sleep. This one does extra fire damage. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and change this as well. I popped a free unequipped ticket. This is kind of a small change. The extra damage from the S3 will make that Bloodstone heal a lot more. You can decide whether or not it's necessary. I don't think it is. This team is very stable. If you don't have Bloodstone at all, this will get a little trickier, but we can go over some alternatives. You could also put your rangers on Song of Stars. Now, I'm fortunate enough to have 2 Bloodstones. If you don't have a second Bloodstone, put her on Song of Stars. It's just like it does have a target debuff, but it's additional chances for the target debuff. If you don't have any Song of Stars at all, then you might want to consider using Kitty Clarissa in place of Camilla. Camilla is nice because on auto you can run her with her skills off, and with Benimar's artifact she'll always dual attack, whereas Kitty Clarissa is going to have that wasted turn where she S2s, but Kitty Clarissa's EE will heal when she S1s, so she's a good alternative to Camilla if you don't have Bloodstone at all. So we just run this on auto. Everybody's skills are fully on except for Camilla's, and the timing should work out pretty good. This will put the ads to sleep if you're lucky, which, you know, reduces incoming damage. Kind of nice if you're not running Bloodstone. Cerise will get buff block up, and with buff block up, you will easily push phase. And the double extra tap is kind of nice on that S1 as well. Now, I debated this. I think you might actually be better if you turn off Sirmia's skills, because Cerise's attack, or Leica's attack right there, will give her an attack buff, and the greater attack buff is not that much more damage, and it'll make sure that your Sirmia just S1s, which does better damage inside of the break phase. Sirmia's S3 does not do a lot of damage in the break phase because her S3, most of the damage comes from her doing a defense penetration with this attack, and in the break phase there is no defense. Plus she wastes an entire turn putting greater attack buff up, so yeah, if you do this, I recommend you turn Sirmia's skills off as well. Cerise reapplies the buff block. Now the ads have immunity up, so unfortunately we're not sleeping anybody, but it's a strong Bloodstone heal because it's an AoE strike. And we dual attack. I got lucky with Cerise and she dual attacked with Sirmia. And attacked with Sirmia again, and we are into the next break phase at 3.1 million points. Leica does her S2, gets target debuff on. We're still waiting for Cerise to put the buff block up. We're going to have to wait one more round. If your timing on Cerise's buff block is solid, you'll get this even faster.
How naive.
And of course, my Benimara's artifact doesn't proc. Cerise wastes the turn, or Sirmia wastes the turn using her S2. And I dual attack with Leica. So that was about as bad as it could go, and we still are 100k over the triple S plus point. So even if you have bad RNG like that, your Benimara artifacts don't proc. You dual attack with your Leica. It still is a stable triple S plus team, and should work just as well with Milim as your damage unit, or with Kitty Clarissa in place of Camilla. Now you could also toy around with using Kitty Clarissa, Camilla, Cerise, and having Landy be your DPS unit. That would also probably be a very stable triple S plus. It meets your ranger conditions and it does a ton of damage. Because Leica is giving the attack buff, you don't have to worry about having Camilla's skills off. Now, you ready for the best tip of all? Hang with me on this one. It's going to sound like an advertisement, and that's because it is, but you really want to hear this one. Any coin enjoyers out there? Are you sad about the recent nerfs to the exchange rate on coins? If you know, you know. And if you don't know, well, I'll let you in on the sauce. Do you like saving money? Do you like discounts? How does 20 to 30% back in points on your in-app purchases sound? Where these points can be spent just like cash in Epic 7. I have some exciting news from Huawei AppGallery. They've just launched an incredible cashback offer, so let me first walk you through how to get these deals. First, you'll need to grab your Android device, or in my case an emulator. Install a browser real quick if you don't have one, then head over to the Huawei AppGallery, link in the description, and install the app. Now you'll have to provide birthdays and emails and phone numbers, all the basic stuff app stores that are processing money ask for, nothing out of the ordinary. Make sure when you enter your birthday, even if you want to lie about it, you make sure you pick an age that makes you at least 17 years old, or you'll get stuck behind the child account wall. Now, one tip I will give you is change your country to Switzerland. It seems to have the best in-game prices right now for European countries. Once installed, you'll need to check that HMS Core is also installed. HMS Core runs in the background. It just makes sure that your in-game purchases count towards your points. Now install a new instance of Epic 7 via the Huawei Appstore and make sure that this instant is where you make your purchases. Now head over to the features section and take a look at the promotions. And look at that, this month we have a special deal out there for Epic 7. 30% points back on your first purchase and 20% points back on each additional purchase. No limit, no tiers, no caps. That's 2 to 3 times what other app stores are currently offering. It's really simple to get this set up and going, but if the process still confuses you or you hit a stumbling block, head over to the official Discord, also a link in the description. There you'll find tutorials and a helpful team of people ready to answer your questions. Huawei runs promotions on a regular basis and often hosts giveaways in their Discord, so make sure you join. Or jump in my Discord, which also has a tech support room for the Huawei App Store, and also plenty of other resources, including me, so come visit. Okay, so now that we're done satisfying the advertisers and saving all of you money, here is the Dagger Sicar version. So I took Sirmia and gave her a huge upgrade, basically stuffed her on my Strays Rage set, still on her S1EE, still on Cruel Mischief. Next we're going to go with Command Model Leica. Now the changes I made to Leica is I gave her a crit chance neck and attack boots. This is predominantly to slow her down. I wanted her to be a lot slower so she doesn't waste turns. I gave her S2EE to increase her chance of silence, and Bloodstone Artifact just for some additional healing. Cerise I likewise slowed down. I gave her attack boots. She was on a crit chance neck before, but if she's not, put her on one because that will accelerate her ability to heal. Now, if you don't have 2 Bloodstones, that's fine. Just stick her on a Song of Stars to increase your chance for getting that target debuff, because I got 15%ed, you probably will too. Next, Camilla, run the Benimaru artifact. Mine's free to play, unfortunately, so I'm going to suffer 25% RNG of it not activating. I've got Camilla on a rage set. You want her to be respectfully fast. I gave her speed boots because you do want her to take turns. With Benimaru's artifact proccing, she'll dual attack each round. Now, if out of the gate you get stunned, just restart. And likewise, if out of the gate Meru steals your immunity debuff, go ahead and restart that as well. Other than that, there's really no restart conditions to this. Now, you may need to speed tune your units a little bit for this combination, but it worked great for me. To start out, you use your S2. You want to make sure that the buff block sticks. If the buff block doesn't stick, restart. Then you can use your S3. Our goal of this is to get a slow debuff on Meru. And we got it. Now, you can use her S2 here or not. I chose not to. Just hit one of the adds so that you don't accidentally push phase. Now we can use the S3 on Cerise. This activates her ability to dual attack next round. And now we're ready to push phase. So Sirmia uses her S2 to activate her greater attack buff, and her S3 will push phase. No matter what buffs Meru might have, your Sirmia should be able to push phase with the S3. Now we S2 with Leica to get the target debuff and activate a dual attack with Sirmia. Cerise is a random dual attack. I got lucky. She dual attacked with Sirmia. We got the attack buff from Benimaru's artifact, so we're straight into a dual attack with Sirmia. I'm getting really lucky with my Sirmia dual attacks there. And I got the artifact proc. That's another hit. I'm not getting too lucky on the double strikes with Sirmia. It's a 25% chance for her to hit twice, and she's only done it, I think, once this round. But that pushed me out with 6.9 million points out of phase 1. Anything over 4 million is going to be Dagger Sicar level. Heck, 3.5 million will be Dagger Sicar level. So we use the S3 to try to strip down some of those greater attack buffs that they stole from Sirmia. I'll use an S2 to put an attack buff back on Sirmia since they stole her Gab. Nice, I got a defense break, so that hit extra hard. You see all that extra damage Sirmia's taking. The S2 hits everybody, so it'll be a stronger Bloodstone heal. This is why I wanted damage on my Leica, because the Bloodstone heal is based on the damage. I'm not going to be able to get anybody put to sleep with that S3, but you can see that healed Sirmia almost back up to full health. We'll go ahead and activate the S2 because I think we are ready to push phase here. This S3 should push phase or get me really close. Really close. The S2 from Cerise should get me in. Really want to stick the buff block here. Got the buff block, and since it's a 2-turn buff block, it takes us into the next phase, and Leica's right behind it with the target debuff, and I get 15%ed because 15% exists in PvE for some reason. You're killing me, Smilegate. Oh, God. So, we're just going to run this anyway. We dual attack with Sirmia. Okay, Cerise, pull Sirmia, pull Sirmia. Nice. Okay, 10 million score, we're doing good. Man, this would be so great with that target debuff. And I don't proc Benimaru's artifact because I'm free to play. Well, I'm not free to play. That's a lie. The artifact's just technically free to play because I don't have it at plus 30. Okay, I guess I S3 here because there's no dual attack and there's no reason to S2. And we're not going to be able to get the target back up, so we just S1. Benimaru's artifact procs, thankfully. I S1. Sirmia, you really need to drag with Cerise. And an extra hit? Just one hit, but 13 million out of phase 2. That's fantastic. Now we just have to take it to the end. We just have to survive. I'll try to get the target. I got it. And we'll go ahead and use the S2 to put buff block up. It won't last long because those adds will cleanse it, but I've got at least one round before that happens. So we're just going to drop Sirmia's nuke and do as much damage as we can. I don't know if you noticed this, but with Leica's S2 extending the attack buff, and with Cerise, or with Camilla being able to S2, you basically get to keep non-stock greater attack buff on your Sirmia. And that was a very clean kill in the final stage for a final score of 14.4 million. Now mind you, this was some of my best gear moved around and tuned properly, but it just shows you how much of an overkill you can go into this fight if you're willing to move some gear around for it. Now though I'm holding the number 1 spot, got you this time, Robusto. I'm kidding. He can probably just move a little gear around and eclipse my score. And I'm sure that people with better Sirmias and who don't miss their target debuff because of 15%, I'm still salty about that, will be able to knock me out of the first place slot, but still, it's an 8-digit score. And it was pretty consistent. I did this maybe 3 or 4 times to get the RNG right, and I was always between 11 and 13 million, with this being a high score run. So I'm stopping here and getting back to farming because I have got some gold to earn. If you have any questions about this week's Hall of Trials, please ask them in the comments section. Don't forget to join my Discord. You can have direct access to me if you have any questions you want to ask, and also get up-to-date information on my videos as they come out. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and don't forget to like and subscribe.